Welcome to Night Storia, a realm where stories are not merely told, but woven into the very fabric of eternity. Here, every whispered tale, every forgotten legend, and every untold mystery finds a home, never to fade with time. Back again with me, Sebastian. In the previous episode, we were made to wonder how Bronca could know Marinka's grandfather. If he is really that old, is Bronca really human? Will the mystery about Bronca finally be revealed in this episode? Let's just start the story. Cursed Child. That morning, Rudy's store had just started operating, selling snacks and other basic necessities. It can be said that his store is similar to a smaller supermarket that provides all forms of food needs. Some customers began to arrive, in and out buying their needs, giving a little hope to Rudy, who was trying hard to support his family. Rudy was quite busy on his first day opening the shop, tidying up the shelves of snacks while taking note of the items that were starting to dwindle. In the middle of his busy schedule, the shop's glass door rang, signaling the arrival of a new customer. When Rudy turned around, he saw a young woman entering the store. Her clothes were luxurious, but her body was covered in bruises and cuts. Her face looked pale, and there were lines of fatigue in her eyes. She walked slowly to the medicine shelf, picked up a bottle of pain reliever, and added some snacks to her basket. Rudy watched from behind the counter. The woman looked nervous. She occasionally glanced out through the glass window, as if afraid of something. Despite feeling awkward, Rudy tried to refrain from asking. When the woman approached to pay, Rudy just nodded politely. "How much is the total?" the woman asked, in a low, almost inaudible voice. Rudy scanned the items quickly. $120, he replied. The woman took out the money with slightly trembling hands, placing it on the counter. As she handed over the change, Rudy took a closer look at the bruises on the woman's wrist, the marks of a very rough grip. Rudy didn't pay attention to the scene outside the store. He was only focused on serving his customers as best he could. As he watched her exit the store, he was surprised. Bronca was already there, with a pale white face and shabby clothes, standing in front of his store. Surprisingly, the woman didn't show any fear or disgust at all. She just approached the little boy. Rudy smiled when the woman gave the boy some of the snacks she had bought earlier. Bronca smiled too. Here, Rudy realized that the little boy was not as scary as he imagined. Rudy continued to watch the sweet scene in front of him. From the movement of Bronca's tiny mouth, Rudy could guess a word that was uttered so sincerely from him. "Thank you." Not even an inch of the fancy-dressed woman's foot had stepped from the side where the little boy stood. The snack that the boy was holding was forcibly snatched away by a fierce-faced man. The man immediately pulled the woman's hand violently. "You stupid! Why are you giving snacks to this kid? Hurry up and get in the car before we get a bad luck," he snapped. Rudy, who witnessed the incident, quickly reacts. He released the cruel man's grip from the woman. "Hey, don't you dare be abusive to a woman," he said. Rudy's hand shot forward with an angry look on his face. "Give back the snacks that the woman gave to this little boy." "You'd better take a look around first. Where's the little boy you were talking about?" "He's gone, right?" Rudy turned his head and looked around. And sure enough, the little boy was gone somewhere. He was confused as to how the little boy could have disappeared so quickly. "I know you're new here," said the man as he strongly pointed at Rudy's chest. "I'm warning you, don't ever interfere with my business, and don't ever deal with that little boy. It's for your own good. Keep that in your mind." After giving that warning, the man brutally dragged the woman towards a black car parked on the side of the road. He pushed her into the car, then shut the door with a loud bang. Rudy stood transfixed in front of the shop, his feelings mixed, between anger and confusion. When he turned around and was about to step into the store, He was again surprised by the presence of the little boy who had disappeared earlier. Without any feelings of suspicion or anything, he asked, "Oh my gosh, kid, are you okay?" The little boy didn't answer. He just shook his head. The shabby look on his face made Rudy unable to help but feel sorry for him. "Wait here for a moment. I'll exchange the snacks that were taken from you." Rudy ran into his shop and grabbed some snacks and candy, the thing that kids love the most. "Here, take this." Rudy handed him a bag full of snacks and candy inside. The little boy smiled and said, "You're so kind. Thank God William's granddaughter found the right partner." After saying that, the boy ran off without giving Rudy a chance to satisfy his curiosity. He stood stunned, then walked with a blank mind to the back of the counter. His mind was racing with what had just happened. He scratched his curls in frustration, then muttered, "How did that little boy know Marinka's grandfather?" Time passed until several hours had passed, but he had yet to calm down. Amidst the chaos of his thoughts, the bell on the shop's glass door rang. Michael entered with his school bag still slung over his shoulder. The teenager's face looked rumpled, much different than usual. Rudy immediately realized something was bothering him. "What's wrong? You look gloomy," Rudy asked, curious. "Something wrong at school?" Michael placed his bag in the corner of the room without answering. He took a deep breath and sat on a small stool near the snack shelf. Rudy waited patiently, knowing that his brother-in-law needed time to start his story. "I just saw something quite sad," Michael finally said, his voice low. "What did you see that made you sympathize so much?" Rudy came closer, now sitting in the chair next to him. "Do you remember a boy named Bronca, the one people called the bad luck bringer?" Michael asked. "Yes, I do. Just now he was in front of the shop," Rudy said. Michael's face grew grim as he told the story. That little boy was carrying a bag full of snacks, but Michael's words trailed off. He seemed to be having a hard time telling what happened to him. "What happened, Michael?" asked Rudy curiously. "He was robbed by a half-drunk gangster near my school," Michael said with a face full of bitterness. Rudy was shocked. "Oh my God, Michael. That bag of snacks he was carrying came from here. I gave it to him." His lips dropped down. With a frown, Michael said, "I really wanted to help. I was going to lunge at the gangsters, but everyone stopped me. They actually held both my hands tightly, saying that I would be in danger if I dealt with those thugs. Your friends are probably right, Michael. You could indeed fall into great danger if you deal with gangsters. Didn't you try to get help back then?" "I did, but my friends or even the adults around me completely turned a blind eye, didn't care about the savagery in front of their eyes." Michael was silent for a moment, as if contemplating something. "Never in my life have I felt this regretful and scared." "Scared? You are a martial arts champion. What are you scared of?" "I don't know. This city seems to have lost its humanity. Everyone lives by celebrating lust and letting themselves be swept away by the deep currents of perversion." Michael's face, which had been sad, suddenly changed. It was as if a demon had entered into him. He was filled with rage and said, "What's even more horrifying is that they are allowing an innocent child to be persecuted right in front of their eyes. That's crazy." Rudy smiled, trying to comfort his brother-in-law. "That's more than enough, Michael. You're young and you're not like them. You're willing to help, that's all that matters. If everyone in this town starts to be like you, there might be hope for this place." Behind those optimistic words, Rudy himself was not sure if Eldoria City could really change. As he looked at Michael, who was now helping to arrange the items on the shelves, Rudy realized one thing. There was something wrong with the people in this city. The Eldoria skies were starting to turn orange, a sign that night would soon come. Rudy and Michael were still busy inside the shop. Michael deftly arranged the goods on the shelves, while Rudy checked the day's sales report behind the counter. Suddenly the doorbell rang, but no one came in. Rudy lifted his head and looked out the shop window. There stood Bronca, but he looked different this time. He stood straight with a smiling expression on his face, but his eyes clearly radiated such deep sadness. Before Rudy or Michael could react, Bronca shouted out loud, "The time has come!" The voice echoed, splitting the silence of the dusk. Bronca waved, then ran away quickly. Rudy and Michael were transfixed, looking at each other in confusion. "What was that, Rudy?" asked Michael, putting down the item he was holding. Rudy shook his head, staring at the street where Bronca had disappeared. "I don't understand either, Michael. The time has come. What did he mean by those words? What is the time for?" Rudy stood up from his chair and walked to the door of the shop, opening it slightly to see if Bronca was really gone. The street in front of the store seemed empty, with only a few people passing by at a brisk pace, probably hurrying home before nightfall. "That kid is getting weird," Rudy muttered. "Every time he shows up, it feels like something is going to happen." Michael nodded slowly. "I feel the same way, Rudy. But why was he smiling like that earlier? And why did he shout, 'The time has come,' while running?" "I don't know, Michael." Rudy closed the store door again. "One thing is for sure, this city is full of surprises even without Bronca." Michael paused, thinking about his brother-in-law's words. However, in his heart he could not shake the feeling that whatever Bronca meant, it was definitely not something good. In Michael's mind, he couldn't get rid of the one question that kept swirling around in his head. Even when it was time for the store to close, what do we mean by "the time has come"? Okay, everyone, we have reached the end of the story. Everything will be revealed in the last episode of Cursed Child, about who Bronca is and what he means by "the time has come." So see you in the next episode.